In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to count columns in Excel for Vlookup. While using Vlookup function, we have to insert the column index number inside the Vlookup function. So usually we insert the column index number manually, and it's very practical for a small size of data table. But consider a situation when we are dealing with a data table with hundreds of columns. So in such cases, it's just impractical to manually count all the columns and then insert the column index number. So we can solve this problem very easily using a function called the column. Now let me show you how this column function actually works. If I type equal column open parenthesis, it's asking for a reference. So a reference can be anything. It can be just a single cell or maybe a range, whatever. So if I insert this range and close parenthesis, then if I press enter, it returns 1. This means the range I have inserted here belongs to the first column. This is how we can actually use this column function inside the Vlookup function. Now let me show you how to use this column function inside the Vlookup function to calculate the column index number. For that, here I want to extract the salaries from this salary column based on the employee IDs. For that, here just writing a Vlookup formula using the Vlookup function. First I need a lookup value. Lookup value is employee ID. Then it needs a table array. So table array is this range, and as the range is fixed, I'm just locking it by pressing F4. After that, now it requires the column index number. Here we'll be using the column function instead of manually inserting the column number by counting it manually. So just type column open parenthesis, now the reference. So our here reference is this salary column. So I'm just inserting its range. I'm inserting close parenthesis. Now I want exact match. So I'm selecting false. Now close parenthesis and hit enter. So yeah, it returns the value that is corresponding to employee ID 151509014. So I'm copying it down. So here one extra thing. Here if I look at the formula, here our table array is starting from column A. But what if there are some blank columns at the beginning of our data table? So to demonstrate that situation, I'm inserting blank column. So now our data table is starting from column B, and our Vlookup formula is dropping an error. So now if we look at the formula, we can see that table array has changed, and the reference inside the column function has also changed. So now the reference is D2 to D10, which means this column. And if I select this function and press F9, I can see the output and the column function actually returns. So it's currently returning 4. This means this range is located at the 4th column. If we look at our table array, it says our table array is B2 to B10. In our table array, there are only 3 columns available, but our column index number returned by the column function is 4. So there's a mismatch going on. That's why our Vlookup function is returning an error. So to solve this problem, we need to subtract the number of blank columns that are present at the beginning of our data table. So the number of blank columns is only 1. So I'm subtracting 1 from the column function, then press enter, and yeah, now it works. So I'm just copying it down, and there you go. So this is how we can use the column function to count columns in Excel for Vlookup.